Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Hope you all are doing fine. I am Samir Barwa and today I'm going to share with you a list of my top 10 books on Buddhism. Well, first I must tell you that I am not a Buddhist by birth, but I would love to be a Buddhist in spirit. For me, Buddhism is not just a religion, it is a path to purification, a way to self-transformation. In that context, my approach to Buddhism is not intellectual, it is simple, straightforward, and practical. Apart from some basic informations, I am less concerned with the history of Buddhism and its significance. Yes, they are important. They are extremely important for the scholars, but not so much for a layman like me. For me, the expansion of heart and mind is more important than accumulating quizzical knowledge-based stuff. So, you can guess what type of books may be included in my list. The books which are included in my list are the books which I have read and are still available in my collection. Although it is stated as a top 10 books or 10 books, but there are 13 books in my list. 3 of them are honorable mention. There is no specific or particular order of books because each one of them is equally important to me, including the additional entries. So friends, relax for a while, sit down, and please do spend with me few minutes in sound and perfect silence. Let's begin. First, let us look at the honorable mentions. The first one is a classic of all time, The Art of Happiness, a handbook for living by His Highness Dalai Lama and Howard Cutler. Whenever you look at His Highness, both in highs and lows, sun and shower, you will always see him smiling. That smile comes from within. It is a reflection of inner joy and happiness. In this book, together with Howard Cutler, he reveals the secret of happiness. Exploring the various aspects of our life, he concludes that only love and compassion can pave the way for our true happiness. The Art of Happiness. The next is a very popular book by an American Buddhist nun, Pema Chodron, When Things Fall Apart, Hard Advice for Difficult Times. In this inspiring book, Pema Chodron tells us that our fear, pain, loss, and anxieties cannot be relieved and transformed unless and until we directly confront with them, face them. She teaches us some meditative methods to deal with those negative emotions. This is indeed a guidebook for us in difficult times. And the book is indeed very close to my heart. The last one, the last of the honorable mention is Dancing with a Life by Philip Moffitt. In this book, the author shows us the power of insights associated with the Four Noble Truths and how, by devotedly following them, we can move from suffering to joy and happiness. A beautiful book. These are the three honorable mentions. Now friends, here my list begins. The first book of my list is Old Path, White Clouds by famous Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. This beautiful classic recounting the lives and teachings of Lord Buddha over the course of 80 years. I have read few other books on the life of Buddha, but nothing is found so vivid and refreshing as this book. Thich Nhat Hanh's poetic mastery is very much evident in the language of the book. I truly consider this book as a precious treasure in my collection. The second book of my list is What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula. This book has been regarded as one of the most important introductory books on Buddhism. Using extracts from ancient classics, Walpola Rahula offers clear and precise explanations to the essential teachings of Buddhism, including the Four Noble Truths, the Buddhist mind, the Noble Eightfold Path, meditation, and mental development. This book is a very informative book on Buddhism. There is yet another book of Thich Nhat Hanh in my list, The Heart of Buddha, Heart of Buddha's Teaching. If anyone asks me to suggest only one book on the teachings of the Buddha, undoubtedly my answer would be this book. In this book, Thich Nhat Hanh introduces the core teaching of the Buddha, including Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, Three Doors of Liberation, the Three Dharmasil, and Seven Factors of Awakening. In this book, he also shows us why and how the teaching of the Buddha is so accessible and applicable in our daily life. This book is an outstanding book on Buddhism. The next in my list is Awakening the Buddha Within by Lama Surya Das. Buddhism tells us that each of us has Buddha nature within, but most of us are too often like sleeping Buddhas. In this book, Surya Das shows how we can awaken to what we really are, in order to lead a more compassionate, enlightened, and balanced life. The book illuminates the guidelines and key principles embodied in the Noble Eightfold Path. This is a comprehensive book on Buddhism with special reference to the Eight Noble The fifth one in my list is Buddhism Without Belief by Stephen Batchelor. In this remarkable book, Batchelor tells us that the concept and practices of Buddhism are not something to believe in, but something to do with them. This is a valuable book for the non-Buddhists and also for the aspiring Buddhists. Although there is a mixed reaction about this book among the Buddhist communities, but personally, I like this book. The next to my list is A Path with Heart by Jack Cornfield. This is one of the most profound books I have ever read in my life. The gentle wisdom that book contains will guide us through ups and downs of contemporary life, such as addiction, depression, problems with relationships, and difficulties in achieving a balanced life. I would highly recommend this book to those who honestly like to work on their lives. The seventh on my list is Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. This is a special book for me because only a few books can provide you so much of comfort as this one does. Most of us feel inadequate at some time in our life. We try to avoid, but that only makes things worse. Here, in this amazing book, Tara Brach tells us that the best way in this condition is to accept these feelings and watch them with compassion. This will make the pain more bearable and teach us how to live a life of increased compassion, radical acceptance. The next in my list is the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Sogyal Rinpoche. I read this book years back. This book introduced me to the Buddhism. This influential book explores the messages of impermanence, evolution, karma, and rebirth, and many more ideas. The part of the book that strikes me most is when the author explains how to care for and show love to the dying and spiritual practices for the moment of death. This is a comprehensive book on Tibetan Buddhism and my all-time. I consider this one of my favorite readings in Buddhism. The second to the last in my list is Gradual Awakening by Stephen Levin. This book is filled with practical guidelines and advices from a compassionate being on awakening of Buddha nature. In this book, Levin explains the values of meditation as a means of attaining awareness. This is another gem in my collection. Finally, the last but not the least. Everything arises, everything falls away by Ajahn Chah. This book focuses on the theme of impermanence, offering powerful remedies for overcoming our deep-seated fear of change, including guidance on letting go of our attachments, living in the present, and taking up the practice of meditation. I'm sure while reading this book, you will be moved by the simplicity of the Master Ajahn Chah and also by his teaching. This is the list of my top 10 books on Buddhism. I would love to see your views on the list. I shall be glad if you add your own list in the comment box. So friends, that's what I have for today. I will meet you soon. Till then, bye from here. Take care.